So the Indiana Fever training camp is over, and they are playing their first game today, or or tomorrow. But because I'm recording it tomorrow, and it'll be today when this video is up. But it's like 4 a.m. so the game's in like 14 hours, or Jesus, 5 a.m. the game's in 13 hours. And if you could subscribe, it'd be greatly appreciated, lads. We're recording all of these videos tonight on very little sleep, so that you guys have plenty of videos throughout the day before the game tomorrow. So we're trying to hit 45,000 subscribers as soon as possible. I don't know when we're going to hit it, but if we do it before the start of the season, that would be absolutely insane. But when it comes to the Indiana Fever, we've learned quite a lot about this team at training camp. And it's what we can expect to see coming into the year. And obviously, I don't know if Caitlin plays tomorrow. I doubt it. I doubt she's going to play tomorrow, but we are probably looking, when it comes to the Fever, at a team that's going to be a significantly better defensive team. Are they going to be a good defensive team? I don't think so. But are they going to be significantly better? Yes. They're going to be way better on the defensive end this year than they were last year. Like, again, it's hard to be worse on the defensive end the Fever were last year. But they're going to be better. Why are they going to be better? Are the individual defenders better? A little bit. DeWanna Bonner's a fantastic defender. She's a vet. She communicates well. And Natasha Howard, it's yet to see. Sophie Cunningham's fine. Sophie Cunningham's a fine defender. And she's a versatile defender more than she's a good defender. Michaela Timpson will be a good defender if she comes in. If Bree Hall makes squad, which is unlikely, she'll be a decent defender. Bree Turner's a really good defender. So even though they did definitely upgrade on the individual level on the defensive end, I don't think it was as big of an upgrade as just the coach and the system. Like Stephanie White, as much as she was an offensive coach, she did a really good job at Connecticut. So obviously she surrounded herself with good defensive coaches. Breanna January seems to be an elite defensive coach. And you can see from all these practices that they take pride in their defense. Especially you're seeing Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark, the pride she's taken in defense. And I'm not saying Caitlin Clark chose not to play defense last year, but she looked lost on the defensive end. I don't even know if I can say she looked bad. She just looked lost. She looked absolutely lost on the defensive end. So, with that being said, like, you've now got a player who knows what they're doing, knows what they're meant to do, and is taking pride in that end, which is huge. When it comes to their communication, that's probably the biggest change. You've seen plenty of times that the Fever's communication, their switches, is extremely good, especially compared to last year. Last year, again, they literally lost out on their season. Like, they lost out in the playoffs because of a defensive miscommunication. And the first clip that was shown, again, a lot of people, if you're not as freaking, I'm not even going to say don't know ball, like I have an unhealthy obsession with the sport of basketball that I remember specific plays and why they lost in freaking seasons. But last year, the first play that the Fever showed was a switch between Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell, or not Aaliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston on a soft hedge. But that switch communicated last year was an open three and they lost season on it. So it's great to see things like that. And on the offensive end, expect to see more of a motion offense. Expect to see less heliocentric, less transition. I think transition is going to be still the same thing, but we forget how bad the Fever were in the half court last year. They were horrendous. They were absolutely horrendous in the half court last year. And people are like, oh, Caitlin Clark, in a motion offense, Caitlin Clark's going to get less opportunities. They're still going to run harder in transit. They're going to run probably harder in transition. They're going to get more stops. So there's going to be more transition opportunities for Caitlin. And the difference is like Caitlin, like the Fever weren't good even with Caitlin Clark in the half court last year. So they're going to be better in the half court. Will they be good? I don't think so, but will they be better? Sure. They will be definitely better in the half court. So we've got that. And then when it comes to positions, we know what starting five is going to be. It's going to be Clark, it's going to be Mitchell, it's going to be Bonner, it's going to be Howard, and it's going to be what's it? Boston, obviously. So that's what the team's going to be. Expect the first sub, no matter what, to be Sophie Cunningham. Whether that be if Caitlin picks up 2 early fouls to play the 1, whether that be to come in at the 2 for Mitchell, more than likely it's going to be to come in at the 3 or 4 for Bonner or Howard. Whether it be coming in at the 5 for Aaliyah Boston, playing at the 4 and sliding Natasha Howard up to the 5. She's going to be the first sub off the bench no matter who is coming in. Expect that. And with that being said, expect Sophie Cunningham to be the backup point guard in most minutes. Expect Colson to play an extremely limited role, very similar to how she played with the Aces. And with that being said, like, she's still going to play a few minutes here and there, be like a spark plug defensive player, energy player, rather than a true backup point guard. Whereas the Aces had, I know Colson was technically their backup point guard, but they would play Jackie Young there. They would play Kate Martin there sometimes. Whereas Colson, no matter what, was the spark plug. Expect a similar role, and for Colson to be more of a locker room presence than a really effective player. But that would be, again, my prediction. And another thing to expect is Bree Turner getting into the, like, Bree Turner being in the rotation more first big off the bench. So not Dantas, and honestly, before Lexi Hull. Lexi Hull playing early on in the year, a bit lesser minutes. That would be, from training camp, again, she was in with Timpson. She was playing with the starters when it was with Timpson. And again, I think Lexi Hull is much better when she's surrounded with better players. And I do think Hailey Van Lith. My next video is going to be on Hailey Van Lith. Sorry, it's 5 a.m. and I'm struggling. I do think Lexi Hull she's going to fight it out with Sophie Cunningham. But she's going to lose to Sophie Cunningham because of Sophie Cunningham's versatility. And the last thing I think we can expect we learned from training camp is that Bree Hall seems to be doing really well. Bree Turner is basically guaranteed a spot. A lot of people are saying cut Bree Turner, but Michaela Timpson is freaky athletic. And not only that, is I can see Michaela Timpson breaking into the roster early. Extremely early, I can see Michaela Timpson breaking into that roster, giving a lot of energy, playing a bit of defense, and even if she commits a few fouls, who cares? She plays 7-8 minutes per game. I know 7-8 minutes, she can literally get you 3 boards and 4 points off running the floor. And if she does that, perfect. As a rookie, that is absolutely perfect. So anyway, yeah, that is the video. It's a quick breakdown on what we have learned from the Indiana Fever training camp that is coming out the morning of their first game. I have no idea when I'm going to end up releasing this, but yeah, probably coming out in the morning of the first game. But anyway, I'll see you guys.